Hello, amazing English learners. I'm Sarah. Welcome back to Unlock B2 English, the podcast that's here to transform your intermediate English into confident, fluent communication.
And I'm thrilled you're joining us for another step on your B2 journey. Today, we're diving into a topic that will instantly make your English more descriptive and engaging: navigating news headlines, current events for B2 learners.
Exactly, Mark. Understanding news headlines can be a real challenge for B2 learners. News often uses specific vocabulary and structures that can be tricky. Our goal today is to give you the tools to approach current events with more confidence, making your English truly shine.
Absolutely. And we'll do it using our unique method we call scaffolding. Remember, scaffolding is like the temporary support structure that helps you build something complex. In our case, your English skills. We'll give you the foundation before we dive into the main content.
So, for this episode, we're going to explore key vocabulary for understanding news, and we'll discuss a simple current event. We'll break down headlines and common phrases you'll encounter.
Let's get straight into our scaffolding for today. To help you get the most out of this episode, here are some key ideas and vocabulary you're about to hear. First, we'll talk about understanding main ideas in headlines. News headlines are often concise and use specific grammar. We'll look at how to quickly grasp the core message.
We'll also cover vocabulary related to current events. You'll learn words like breaking news, report, source, investigation, and implication. These are essential for discussing what's happening in the world.
And finally, we'll introduce some phrases for expressing opinions or uncertainty about news. Sometimes you might not have all the facts, and it's important to be able to communicate that.
This is the key vocabulary for today. Breaking news. Newly received information about an event that is currently happening. Example, we interrupt this program for some breaking news. Report. To give a spoken or written account of something, also the account itself. Example, the journalist will report on the election results. Have you read the latest report? Source. A place, person, or thing from which information comes, or can be obtained. Example, always check the reliability of your news sources. Investigation. The formal inquiry or systematic examination of something, especially in a crime, accident, or other matter of public interest, to discover the facts and establish the truth. Example, police launched an investigation into the incident. Implication. The conclusion that can be drawn from something, although it is not explicitly stated. Example, the implication of the new policy is that fewer people will qualify for support. Now, before we dive into the main discussion, think about this. What kind of news do you usually read or listen to in your native language? Do you think it's easy or difficult to understand news in English? Keep that question in mind as we talk.
So, Sarah, news headlines are often quite condensed, aren't they? They sometimes even skip words like a, an, or the. How can our listeners get better at quickly understanding what they mean?
That's a great observation, Mark. News headlines are designed to be short and impactful. My main tip is to focus on the key nouns and verbs. For example, a headline might say, "Minister resigns over scandal." You immediately know it's about a minister, an action, resigning, and a reason, a scandal. Don't get caught up trying to find every single word. Get the gist.
Then it makes sense. It's about extracting the core information. What about some common vocabulary we'll see in news reports, beyond the words we just covered in the scaffolding?
Definitely. Let's consider a few more. Tensions, a state of hostility or strained relations between countries or groups, e.g., tensions are rising in the region. Casualties, people killed or injured in a war or accident, e.g., there were no casualties reported in the earthquake.
Disaster, A sudden event, such as an accident or a natural catastrophe, that causes great damage or loss of life. E.g., the recent flood was a natural disaster.
Summit, a meeting between heads of government, e.g., world leaders attended the economic summit.
Those are certainly common in news. Let's take a simple, positive current event as an example for today, something that won't be too overwhelming. How about a major cultural festival, like, say, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, which happens every August?
Perfect choice, Mark. So, a headline might read, Edinburgh Fringe Festival kicks off drawing global talent.
Okay, so Edinburgh Fringe Festival is obviously the topic. Kicks off means it starts. And drawing global talent tells us that artists from all over the world are participating.
Precisely. Now, if we were discussing this in a news segment, we might say, the renowned Edinburgh Fringe Festival has officially kicked off, transforming the Scottish capital into a vibrant hub of arts and culture. This year's event is reportedly drawing an unprecedented number of international performers and spectators, signaling a strong return for the live arts sector.
Notice how Sarah used renowned instead of just famous, vibrant hub instead of busy place, and unprecedented number instead of a lot. That's B2 language in action. Also, reportedly is a great word to use when you're referring to information from news sources.
Exactly. And when you're talking about news, it's also important to be able to express a degree of certainty or uncertainty. For example, you might say, according to reports, the festival is having a record-breaking year, or it's still unclear how the weather will impact attendance.
Or, sources suggest this might be the biggest fringe yet. Or, there are conflicting reports about ticket sales. These phrases show you understand that information can be tentative.
Let's quickly recap what we've covered today to help you navigate news headlines in B2 English.
We learned to focus on key nouns and verbs to understand the gist of headlines quickly. We also expanded our news vocabulary with words like breaking news, report, source, investigation, implications, tensions, casualties, disaster, and summit.
And crucially, we practiced phrases for discussing news, including how to talk about current events and express opinions or uncertainties, using phrases like according to reports, it's unclear, or sources suggest.
Our aim is to ensure you feel confident and fluent, moving from just understanding English to actively using it in real-life situations, including discussing current events.
Now for your weekly challenge.
For this week, we want you to find a simple news headline in English, either online or in a newspaper. Read it, and then try to explain its main idea aloud in your own words, using at least 2 new vocabulary words from this episode.
You can write it down, record a voice note for yourself, or even better, summarize it to a friend or language partner. The key is to actively apply what you've learned. This practice will move these new words and structures from your passive understanding to your active vocabulary.
That's it for this episode of Unlock B2 English. We hope you feel more equipped to tackle news headlines with confidence.
Don't forget to subscribe to Unlock B2 English on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. This way, you won't miss any new episodes or the valuable visual content we create to support your learning.
Thank you so much for listening and for actively engaging with your English learning.
We'll be back soon with our next episode, Expressing Opinions Fluently, Agreeing and Disagreeing. Get ready to share your views with confidence.
Don't miss it. See you then.